Hi Kelly, I'm Stan Pride. I've got so many questions to ask so many different councillors. Thank you for giving me some time.
Thanks very
Let's
much.
sit down and chat about it.
Great, love to.
Kelly, there are so many people running for regional council this year that I have no idea who is for what. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and then we'll get in and I'll ask you some questions.
Okay, love to, Stan. First of all, I've lived in St. Catharines all my life. I was born here in St. Catharines. There was a time I lived in Beamsville for about 4 or 5 years, but other than that, I've always been in St. Catharines, lifelong resident. I'm married to Darlene for 32 years. We live in the North End. We have 2 daughters. Our oldest, Megan, lives in Toronto right now, works in Toronto. And our youngest, Shannon, is currently living and working in Shanghai, China. I've spent most of my career working for industrial supply companies in the Niagara region, so as such I have a pretty good feel for what the Niagara region is all about.
Kelly, you have a great industrial background, business background. Whatever made you want to run for office?
Well, problem is that I don't see enough future opportunities for the youth of our region. Our kids have nothing to keep them in the Niagara region. There's no good jobs for them anymore.
Well, I don't think anyone will argue that with you. Seems to me that every day in the paper there's more concerns about what's going on in Niagara. And the more I read, the more confused I get. So, I just wrote a couple of things down. What needs to be done to get this growth you're talking about, to keep the kids here?
First of all, I think what needs to be done is we need to spend more time and effort finding something to be interesting enough to keep our young people here so that they can build their careers and their lives here in Niagara, just like we've all done.
Well, certainly we have to do something, Kelly, but what can we do to keep, to go with your vision?
More needs to be done, Stan, to attract new tech or green tech manufacturing plants. With them will come more new and interesting jobs for the Niagara region and for our unemployed factory workers and our students who are our students and youth who are actually looking for full-time jobs other than something that's just going to last for a summer.
Kelly, I really agree with you when you talk about keeping the youth here and getting good paying jobs. But how can we do that?
Right now, for instance, Stan, there's a possible project that are waiting for approval from Hydro. It's in conjunction with Penn Energy from Pennsylvania is working with a local farmer. The farm is called Driftway Farms, and they're proposing a 10 megawatt solar farm for installation, and that'll be in the area of Thorold, Niagara Falls, and Welland, right sort of in the center there. The idea being that all of this project, if it does get approval, has to be made up of 60% of Ontario content. So because of that project, I have, as I said, I've got I've got a list of 10 pages worth of all these different companies that need to locate someplace in Ontario. So why can't we work at attracting them to locate here in Niagara?
Boy, that's an amazing list. I really have heard so much both in the paper here and on the street that the tax rate for industrial and commercial in Niagara is one of the highest in Ontario. How would you try and change that to make sure that these companies would, in fact, locate in Niagara?
You know what, Stan, I've heard the same thing. I've heard that our taxes are higher here, and I'm not really up on this too much because it's got something to do with the Municipal Act, and apparently there are rules as to what we can and can't do with our tax structure here in Niagara. but you know what? I will certainly be looking to find ways to do this and to take care of this and to somehow work on the tax structure to make it more attractive to bring those companies here.
Well, you know, it's amazing that we've got that many people with high-tech types of projects on the books. Certainly solar power is an amazing frontier here in Niagara. But what do you think about the Cairn Family Biocenter at Brock? What is that going to do, and how could we take advantage of that too?
You know what, Stan? That's another excellent example of a resource that we here in the Niagara region should be able to leverage for the betterment of all. We have to work in conjunction with this center to work towards incubation of new ideas and new technologies as they become, as they come out. An excellent example is a fellow I spoke to. His name is Brian Webb, and he's a partner in a company called Norton Scientific. And what they're doing right now in conjunction with the lab at Brock University is they've developed a brand new invention, if you will. And what it is, it's a protein aggregation monitor. And what it is, it's a tool that they use for early drug discovery research. And that's just one example of something that can be done. Once this science center gets up and running, we'll be able to hopefully work at all sorts of new ideas like that and bring them to fruition and bring them to business in the Niagara region instead of sending them someplace else where who knows where.
That's a wonderful unit. Now, just to clarify, are they going to build this test equipment in Niagara and then use it at the biocenter, or will it be made in Niagara, sold around the world, and also be used at the biocenter?
Right now, Brock is testing it out for them to make sure that it is going to work the way they want it to work. But the idea is that they will manufacture this here in Niagara and distribute it around the world. There's something like 3,500 different universities and labs that could use this invention for the betterment of science and to discover new drugs. So yeah, they could very well be using it at the Brock Science Center after it's developed here and marketed.
What about okay, well.